Welcome to Dinar for Veterans. If you hold Iraqi dinar, and you have been watching this space with patience and discipline, today's update is one you will want to hear in full. Several significant developments are converging at once: financial, monetary, and structural. And when you lay them side by side, the picture becomes very difficult to ignore. Let's start with the headline that matters most. Baghdad has officially recovered 93 billion Iraqi dinars in just the first half of 2026. That figure comes directly from reporting out of Iraq, and it is not a small number. This is a government-led effort to pull physical cash out of circulation, part of a broader, deliberate push to move the Iraqi economy away from a cash-based system and toward a fully digitized financial infrastructure. This matters enormously for dinar holders, because the systematic removal of physical currency from the economy is one of the clearest signals that a monetary transformation is actively underway, not theorized, not anticipated, underway. Now combine that with this. A contractor currently working on the ground in Baghdad has reported that Iraqi dinar cash is simply unavailable. ATMs in Baghdad are reportedly not functioning, and merchants are accepting only credit card payments. No cash, no ATMs, just digital transactions. That is not a coincidence. It is a direct continuation of the same policy direction. Iraq is going cashless, and they are moving fast. The recovery of 93 billion dinars in paper currency is directly tied to this initiative. Cash has long been the primary vehicle for money laundering in Iraq, and the government knows it. By eliminating cash from the equation, they are simultaneously cleaning up the monetary system and forcing all transactions through traceable, accountable digital channels. This is monetary modernization happening in real time, and the numbers are backing it up. Now let's talk about something that most analysts in this space overlook entirely: Iraqi oil pricing. The price of oil underpins everything in Iraq's economy, and it serves as one of the most reliable real-world indicators of where the dinar stands relative to its actual purchasing power. Here is what the current data shows. Basra heavy crude is trading at $77.92 per barrel. Basra medium crude sits at $81.92 per barrel. On the surface, those numbers might not seem alarming, but when you compare them against other regional benchmark grades, the picture shifts dramatically. Murban crude, produced in the UAE, is currently priced at $93.44 per barrel. Oman crude is at $95.59. Dubai crude is trading at $90 per barrel. Even using the most conservative regional comparison, Dubai crude at $90, Iraqi Basra crude is trading at roughly a 17% discount to its regional peers, and Iraq is the second largest oil producer within OPEC, the second largest. For the second largest OPEC producer to be selling its oil at a persistent double-digit discount to neighboring grades is not a market anomaly. It is a deliberate structural condition that reflects the current artificial suppression of Iraqi oil valuation, and by extension, the Iraqi dinar itself. When that discount begins to close, when Iraqi crude starts trading in line with regional benchmarks, history suggests that will likely coincide with or immediately precede a major monetary event. Watch the oil. It tells you what the headlines will not. There is also meaningful activity on the foreign exchange front. The Iraqi dinar is appearing on platforms including Forex and Coinbase at a rate of approximately 1.12. That rate, and the presence of the dinar on these platforms in this format, is drawing comparisons to a digital stablecoin, a currency pegged to a stable asset and designed to maintain consistent value while functioning within a modern digital payment ecosystem. The dinar's behavior on these platforms is aligning with that profile, and that is not something to dismiss lightly. Adding to this picture, Iraq's state oil marketing organization, known as SOMO, has announced it is now offering Basra crude for loading through routes that bypass the Strait of Hormuz entirely. This is a strategic logistical move that reduces Iraq's exposure to geopolitical disruption in one of the most volatile shipping corridors in the world. It also demonstrates that Iraq is actively working to make its oil exports more resilient, more reliable, and more globally competitive. These are not the actions of a country content with the status quo. Within the dinar investment community, multiple prominent intelligence sources are now reporting timing signals worth noting. Reports are circulating that Tier 4B currency holders, the Internet Group, may be notified for currency exchange appointments by end of this week, with exchanges potentially beginning the following day. Redemption centers are reportedly on standby with updated rates for the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, and the Zimbabwe dollar coming into closer alignment. These reports originate from community intelligence channels and should be understood in that context. However, the convergence of multiple independent sources pointing toward a similar time frame is not something to casually set aside. On the currency structure side, it is worth addressing the lower denomination question directly, because clarity here matters. As of now, Iraq's lower denomination notes, the smaller bills needed for everyday commerce in a revalued currency environment, have not been released. The release of lower denominations will be one of the final visible steps before a full monetary transition becomes apparent to the general public. When you encounter sources claiming the lower denoms are already in circulation, treat that with caution. They are not, and precision on this point is important for your planning. It is also worth clarifying what a currency redenomination actually means mechanically, because confusion persists in some corners of this community. When a country removes zeros from its currency, it strengthens the currency's value. When it adds zeros, it devalues. The notes currently held by dinar investors are expected to remain valid and exchangeable at a higher value against the dollar, after which they would be phased out of circulation over approximately 90 days, standard procedure for countries undergoing monetary transition. Your notes do not become worthless. They become part of a structured exchange process with a defined window, and understanding that timeline in advance positions you to act calmly and correctly when the moment arrives. For those beginning to think seriously about what comes after a liquidity event, now is exactly the right time to do that homework. The single most important financial decision you will make at the moment of a windfall is who advises you, and whether that person is legally required to act in your interest or merely prohibited from actively harming you. Those are two very different legal standards. In the United States, a registered investment advisor operates under what is called a fiduciary standard, a full legal requirement to put your interest first across the entire relationship. A broker, by contrast, operates under a best interest standard that applies only at the moment of a specific recommendation. That difference can cost you significantly over time. Before you sign anything, before you move any funds, before you agree to any structure, ask the person across the table directly. Are you a fiduciary? How are you compensated? What do you earn if I do nothing? Do not sign anything at a first meeting. Take every document home and review it with independent legal counsel. Interview a minimum of 3 advisory firms before committing to any one of them. Research consistently shows that investors who speak to only one advisor before making major financial decisions are far more likely to experience costly regret down the road. Protect what you have worked and waited for. Zooming out to the broader global context, it is worth understanding why Iraq is positioned the way it is. Iraq was among the first countries in the world to modernize its banking infrastructure at the foundational level, implementing systems and frameworks that are now serving as a model for other nations. Turkey followed. Syria followed. The United States is now accelerating its own digital integration through legislation, including the Genius Act, which authorizes every American bank to issue its own stablecoin. This is not isolated policy. The global financial system is undergoing a fundamental structural transformation, and Iraq, through its oil wealth, its monetary modernization, and its strategic geographic and economic position, sits near the center of it. For veterans and military families in this community, that context matters deeply. The wealth transfer that appears to be approaching is not happening in a vacuum. It is part of a larger global recalibration of financial power, one that rewards those who remained patient, informed, and prepared. This channel exists to make sure that description fits you. Stay alert. The indicators are stacking. We will continue bringing you the clearest, most grounded analysis available as this continues to develop. Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here. God bless our veterans, and God bless this community.